Come on. Everyone ready?
This is the SEC Insider Hit. Presented by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go local. Go with a home team.
Woo! All right, good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Hope you had a good weekend outside of Mississippi State fans in the game. I hope you enjoyed Starkville and campus. Ole Miss fans enjoyed everything. The town, the campus, and the big 38-35 win over the Texas A&M Aggies. I didn't see the handshake or the visiting. Did you see any of that? As far as Jimbo and Lane? Jason?
So there's a video of Lane. He's trying to find Jimbo before the game starts. He walks over to the other sideline trying to talk to Jimbo before the game. And Jimbo's talking to a player, and you can't tell if he knows Lane's there because he turns around and like kind of just keeps minding his own business, and then Lane taps him on the shoulder, that sort of. But after the game, they asked Jimbo. He said, There's nothing to squash between me and Lane. We have to squash this losing streak on the road.
Yeah.
So
they hate each other.
Yeah.
All right. The Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. I don't know if actually Lane cares. He just knows he's better than him. And it's got to drive Jimbo Fisher crazy. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You looked at me weird. I thought, okay. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Favrates.com. F-A-V-E. Bundle your car and home. Favrates.com. So let's go over kind of what happened this weekend. Ole Miss, big win over A&M. It was a lot of theatrics there in the fourth quarter, back and forth. Max Johnson evidently may have some fractured ribs. He may not play, not that it matters, this weekend against Mississippi State. MSU may not. What's the over-under on first downs? 4?
Jeez, really?
That's just right off the top of my head, and it's early. I'm not trying to throw y'all off. I know some of you hadn't even had any coffee yet, and I just took a sip or two of mine. So I'm trying to get into the groove here. But Ole Miss beat A&M. Big win for Bama. Y'all, I mean... And we'll see what happens with Jaden Daniels. Feel like he's in concussion protocol. He played well. He played good football. Milroe was awesome.
Yes.
On third down. Give that young man credit. I know he's limited, but I mean he's made some plays, right? I mean since Texas, they've done what they needed to do. And look, man, we could have an epic battle in Atlanta between Bama and Georgia. Seriously. I mean, I think a lot of people automatically think that Georgia has the edge. Bartu says Bama's the better team. And I don't think Bama's going to back down one bit. I think it could be one phenomenal game. But Bama won. Georgia beat Missouri. Mississippi State was clobbered by Kentucky. Arkansas, Florida's nuts. I would have lost a lot of money on that if you would have told me, hey, here's what's going to play out there. Overtime 39-36. I'd have said, what are you talking about? What planet are you on, and where did you go last night? But they did what they needed to do. And I don't know if that's enough to keep Pittman. I mean, I'm looking at the text line. Mississippi State fans, apathy set in. They're ready to move on. Arkansas, I get the sense they want to give Sam Pittman another year. They spent a lot of money in the portal. It didn't work out. They're just going to have to rev back up and invest the dollars and go get a QB. I mean, KJ Jefferson has another year. But does KJ want to go to the NFL? I mean, his market value will be over, oh gosh. What will his, I mean, so you got Michael Pratt, Tulane. Tulane already bought him a house and a car and gave him $500,000. his market value will be $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million. KJ Jefferson's market value, where are we going? I don't know. $1.5 million?
I mean, give
$2 million?
Give him some weapons.
Yeah.
You get KJ some weapons.
Could he leave and go somewhere that's, a top 10 program? Well, KJ, or does he go to the NFL? My gosh, if Anthony Richardson gets drafted that high, look at KJ's resume. Well, I mean, he's actually started and been productive.
And runs people over.
He runs people over.
He'd rather do that than run past you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw somebody trying to tackle him this weekend. It was a linebacker.
Yep.
It was either linebacker or strong safety. Ran right into him. The dude fumbled back like a cartoon character. He wants to run into you.
Yeah. Well, and you thought that team had thrown in the towel after losing to Mississippi State?
Yeah.
And that they weren't going to win it, other than an Abilene Christian or whatever they play later, a Florida International. Other than that, and they come alive and get a W.
That was impressive. And that was their first time winning in the Swamp. Because they don't play often.
No, they never play.
So,
it's like State in Florida and Ole Miss in Florida.
Right. So first time winning in the Swamp.
Now you play them every other year.
Yeah.
And this is going to be wild. You're going to play everybody every other year.
Ooh, Lane versus Tennessee. If that ends up coming out, hopefully Lane stays at Ole Miss and everything. He continues.
You think he's staying forever?
Yeah. He retires a Rebel. They have a statue for him out front. It's gonna be Lock the Lane instead of Lock the Vaught. I think that's what we're going to.
Okay. All right.
After he beats Georgia, that is.
After he beats Georgia. And you said the line for hold on, let me look at it here on Caesars. It went from 10 to it's at 11.5. Wow. On Circa, it started at 10 and 5 minutes later it was at 11. Now it's 11.5 on Caesars. They may still be it may have moved that way on Circa too. And what is Mississippi State and Texas A&M? Jimbo's going to get that W this weekend, and maybe they'll be. Good Lord, it's 18 points.
Jeez, is that too many?
No,
it's
not too many. This team is it's in disarray. It can't score. Mike Wright's, marginal, and they look. People are trying to tell me that the defense has been playing better, and I'm like, Hugh Freeze took the air out of the ball in the second half. I mean, they knew why make them. It's like what Mississippi State did against Arkansas. Why make a mistake? I mean, if you're in a track meet like Ole Miss and A&M, you got to keep rolling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to go get, hey, we're going to get space. We're chasing space. We're chasing touchdowns, first downs, explosive plays. We're rolling. Boom. But if you know the other team can't score, Kentucky didn't do anything in the second half.
True.
And they didn't have to.
Just eat time.
Absolutely. Eat time. And a W is a W. Eat time, get out of there, and feel good about yourself on the plane ride home to Lexington, Kentucky. Mississippi State's been in way too many coaching searches here. Dan Mullen leaves. Joe Moorhead gets fired. Mike Leach dies. And now Zach Arnett. And it does not look like this is going to work out. They're going to have to move on, go get somebody. And, the question is, I think there's a couple of things here. Is the administration going to commit to NIL and the alums? A combination of both. And as wonderful and beautiful and amazing as Mike Leach was, he was not on the NIL train until about the last 4 or 5 months, before he tragically passed away. And then when you look at the landscape of college football, who can you get? And out of who you can get, who do you want?
It's a good point.
Everybody brings up the same names. Tom Herman, Rhett Lashley, Kahn, Traylor, Chadwell. I did see somebody on the text line mention Barry Odom. Barry Odom would be an unbelievable hire, but it wouldn't be. Look, most of the fan base doesn't keep up, so everybody's attached to Herman right now, and a little bit to
Gus.
Well, make Leopold tell you no, yes or no. Why would he leave Kansas? I mean, I don't like your path of least resistance as far as the Big 12 and that conference compared to the SEC. And if you're Leopold and you're sitting there going, oh, the two powers are leaving?
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. The two best recruiters are leaving the Big 12? So it gives me an even better opportunity to win 7, 8, 9. And if I hit it on a quarterback, and look what they've done, I mean, give that staff credit. He's won for years wherever he was. He's one of those dudes that grinded his way to Power 5. But if you're Leopold at Kansas, knowing that the top two recruiters are leaving, why would you go to the SEC at MSU? I mean, Florida can't even get it right. A&M's not winning like they want. Tennessee I think they're trending in the right direction, but
yeah.
I mean, Heupel and Kiffin have done a good job. Lane's done more. But Tennessee's going in the right direction. Auburn's not winning like they want to. I know it's a first year, but they're not. LSU's got 3 losses. That's not winning like LSU wants to.
No.
So if you're Leopold at Kansas and you're sitting there and you get a call from your agent and they're like, hey, Mississippi State's offering you $7.5+ million a year. Okay. Well, I'm here. It's a basketball school. As long as Bill Self wins and I just win some games, I can get mega rich. I'm already, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like Stoops.
Yeah, but it's a great point. It's like Stoops. I mean, that's going to come to an end now that the East and West divisions are, now that we're going to merge.
Right.
And all play each other every other year. But, all right, so I've got a couple more thoughts on that. On Leopold, Herman, Chadwell, Ginn, Traylor. I missed one. Oh, Lashley. And I don't know if SMU has now bought their way into the Big 12. What was the final number? They're not going to get any money for like 7, 8, 9 years, and they don't care. Would Lashley now if the Arkansas job opens up, you know what he wants. He wants Arkansas, right? Or does he sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to wait for Sam Pittman, either this year or next, for that tenure and run to end, and then I'll go there. Maybe you can go. Would it be wild if both Mississippi State and Ole Miss went to Florida Atlantic to get their next coach back to back?
I mean, that'd be pretty wild.
And I know Herman's not winning big at Florida Atlantic. He just lost to Trent Dilfer over the weekend, 45-42. But 1, they're scoring points, and 2, he's got a backup quarterback playing. He went 32-18 at Texas. Sark's not even trending. I mean, I don't know why they can't get it right. I don't know. We always talk. What's in the water? What's in the bourbon? What's in the beer? What's in the air? What's in the? I don't know. But 32-18 actually at Texas for whatever reason is pretty damn good. And he was at Ohio State under Urban Meyer. Does that mean he'll win? No. Will he win the fan base over? Yes. Could that motivate the alums to give to and the administration to sync up and give to NIL? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
To answer your question, it was SMU to the ACC, not the Big 12, ACC, and they could forego $350 to $450 million in ACC payouts.
So ACC gets, I guess, the Dallas. I mean, they get in the Dallas market for whatever that's worth, streaming and so on. And SMU forgoes, you said $350
to $450 million from the ACC payouts.
Wow. I remember reading about that this summer. So it's them to the ACC. I got to remember that. I had SMU going to, but that didn't. I should have known better because the Big 12's got plenty of teams from Texas in the Big 12. All right, your Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. Driven by your next John Deere tractor at Ag Up Equipment. Do we have anything good on the text line?
We had some people, John, from literally the thing that you have been yelling, don't do.
Yeah.
Says Jeff Lebby to State if
They'll fire
Arnett.
everybody if they hire Jeff Lebby. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Jeff Lebby, I mean, I couldn't help Ole Miss fans when they were walking around town going, we'll just promote Jeff Lebby, when it was rumors that Lane was going to whatever 6 jobs he wanted that year. And I'm blown away with this Jeff. I don't understand. What has Jeff Lebby done? I mean, I know he coaches football, and that's great, but Jeff Lebby shouldn't be a candidate. Just let me go ahead and say, if you hire Jeff Lebby, just go ahead and close it. Just go D3. Just join Mercer and whoever, Bethune-Cookman and whoever else. Now, I can give you some coordinators that are worthy. See, State fans are in this spot now where they're like a jilted lover. And all the SEC teams go through this, right? When you're not happy with where you are and you're losing and you're ticked. And that's good. I mean, I talked to somebody on campus this weekend who said, no, who's obviously in the mix. And he's like, no, it's good that our people are mad. I mean, it was a passive fan base for decades. Jackie Sherrill and Dan Mullen changed it, okay? Right? I mean, you just sat on your hands and allowed yourself to be the bridesmaid for decades. Sherrill came in, shook you up and said, you don't want to win. You're not acting like you want to win. So on and so forth. Dan did it again. And we'll see what iteration this is going forward of Mississippi State. Ole Miss had gotten in a bad spot. They hired Lane. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, Keith Carter nails, it's a 15.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin, it's official. It's been, last year was weird, but to bounce back and have this kind of year is nothing short of remarkable. He retooled the roster. He retooled his staff, and they've got the 3rd best staff in the SEC. Behind Bama's 1. No. Georgia's 1. Bama's 2. And Ole Miss is 3. Heupel's up there. And Drinkwitz, I think, is 5th. He retooled his staff. It can be done. It absolutely can be done. Most coaches can't staff. Most ADs can't hire. They don't know who they don't have any idea who to hire. The overwhelming majority of athletic directors have no idea who to hire. Keith Carter hired Lane Kiffin from Florida Atlantic, and it is a home run. No, it's a grand slam. It's better than a home run.
I mean,
like Mullen and Freeze they were pretty much grand slams, right? But,
yeah.
So there's only so many, right? Sherrill, Tuberville, Mullen, Freeze, Kiffin in the last 40 years. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, and Keith Carter, what he's done as AD just for every program.
Well, Keith's a grown-up.
Yeah.
He didn't have a grown-up there. He's at A&M now. And, again, a friend of mine who lives in Oxford had the best analogy I've ever heard on Ross Bjork while he was at Ole Miss. Bo, Ross Bjork is the kid whose parents go out of town to Hawaii for 3 weeks. And he drives their Range Rover around town for 3 weeks and acts like a complete idiot, right?
King of the world.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just thought it summed it up well. Keith's an adult. And he's all you have to do is make one hire. Dude, Jeremy Foley, Greg Byrne, not that they didn't make more than that, because they met. I mean, Jeremy Foley hired Ron Zook and Will Muschamp. But he hired Billy Donovan and Urban Meyer. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Greg Byrne hired Dan Mullen and John Cohen. Keith Carter has hired Lane Kiffin and Chris Beard. Now, they may be hired. I don't know what's going to happen in baseball for both schools. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Right now, we're in football, and that'll all shake out. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by, or is driven by, your next Ford F-150 at Mack Hike Ford, I-55 North in Jackson. Mr. DX says Willie Fritz for MSU. So he's at Tulane. He's in his late 50s, and he may be the best coach out there that you could, like, football coach.
63, by the way.
Oh, he's 63. Okay, I thought we looked it up last week and he was like 58 or 9. Who was the other guy that we were talking about?
Rich Rod.
Oh, Rich Rod.
Yeah, we were talking about Rich Rod.
Will you look up Signetti at is it James Madison? And he was under Saban for what? 7 years? 6, 7, 8 years? And there's talk that he's the one that put kind of the whole thing together once they hit Tuscaloosa from Miami. On Willie Fritz, that I don't think that's going to work for the fan base. It should. Tom Luganbill, who will join us at 9:30 last week, was like, you should look at Willie Fritz. But there's people that I talk to who don't believe that Willie Fritz could get people in the portal. Is that true or not? I don't know. That's just what they've decided. I think the fan base wants to look at somebody. This is not going to hit well with some and going to be okay with others. Somebody like Tom Herman or Chadwell. Khan is not Khan, GJ at Texas State. That may be your best bet, even though he doesn't have a lot of resume under him. But he's cocky and charismatic and offensive. And I didn't realize he played for Jeff Traylor. I had no idea that he actually played for, GJ Khan. He played for Jeff Traylor in high school. He's the head football coach at Texas State. He's young. He's offensive-minded. He's cocky. He's charismatic. And Traylor's at UT San Antonio, okay? Khan played for Traylor in high school.
Wow. I love the way that Traylor talks, too. Have you, like that, the story that we listened to about him in the rat traps, where he was trying to tell his players, and, of course, one of them put one on the podium and snapped his pinky? There's people on the text line asking, at least 4 people, what about Dan Mullen coming back?
Can you respond
to that? Can you respond?
Dan Mullen's not coming back. It wouldn't work. I mean, I just stop. When we go collegiate, it's just crazy. And it's like if Kiffin were to leave, Hugh Freeze isn't coming back. I mean, you made that run, and it was great. Dan Mullen was insanely successful. You're finding that out now. I mean, I tried to say that Mondays after Mondays after Mondays on this show. But no, Dan's not coming back. Yeah, he's got tens of millions of dollars. He's got a TV gig. I still believe if Dan does anything, it's at a super academic ACC school like UVA.
Wake Forest.
Yeah, where he can go, make a ton of money, find a dual threat quarterback, and beat your you-know-what.
Yeah.
And then do that for about another 5 years, if he even ever comes back. Do that for another 5 years and then be really done. But he may be done now. I mean, this morning, you know what he's doing? He's getting ready to play golf. Okay?
And spend his money.
Kiffin's been in the office for hours. Smart's been in the office. Nick Saban's been in the office grinding for hours. I mean, they brushed their teeth and showered in the office this morning. Ugh. All right. Tom Luganbill at 9:30.